Hello everybody, in this video you're going to be learning about how you can go ahead and create a to-do list app using React. So this is basically going to be part 1 of the series of how you can go ahead and create a to-do list app using React. And we're also going to be using Firebase, and we will save the to-dos inside of the database, so when you even go ahead and refresh your application or website, it's still going to remain, all the to-dos. So let's get started right now. So I'm just going to show my screen right here, and I've just gone ahead and opened up a Visual Studio Code project, or you can say window, inside of a folder which is called To-Do List Demo. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Ctrl-J for going ahead and creating a new React application. So let's just go ahead and do npx, not cd, sorry, npx create-react-app, and let's just go ahead and call this to-do list-app demo. Okay, looking pretty good, and now we're just going to hit enter, and this is just going to go ahead and create our actual to-do list application as a React app. So as you can see, it just says creating, and now this is going to take a while to go ahead and set up our React application. So here as you can see, the actual React app is just set up. So as you can see, it just says happy hacking. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cd to-do list app demo and just do npm start. So this is just going to start the app on localhost. So let's just hit enter, and also I'm just going to go ahead and open up my browser. So basically this is going to take a while to go ahead and start up. So here as you can see, something is actually running on localhost 3000. So it actually asked me, would you like to run an app on another port instead? So here you just have to type in Y, and it's just going to fill it in as yes. So I've already got something else running on localhost 3000, so this is just going to start up on another port. So here as you can see, it's just started up on localhost 3002, and here it's just going to start up, it's just starting up the development server, and we can just wait for that, and until that does what it needs to do, we're just going to open up the to-do list app demo, and first I'm just going to change the title of our actual application. So just come over to index.html, and what I'm going to do is today we're not actually going to be changing the icon, so you can change it if you want to, but I'm not going to. So here for the title, we can just do to-do list app, like so. Now we can just clean up the index.html a little bit by getting rid of the comments. So let's just get rid of this, and it's totally optional if you want to do that. Let's do that. Get rid of this. There we go. Okay, hit save, and looking pretty good. Let's just close down index.html, and let's just shrink down public. Let's come back here. It's still actually starting up the development server. Okay, let's go over into source, and we're just now going to run like a cleanup process, which is going to be to actually delete all of the test files and all of that stuff. So let's actually do that. So the test files are actually app.test.js, logo.svg, and setup.test.js. So also if you come over here, as you can see, it's just started up right here, and it should say to-do list app. So let's just hit refresh, and there we go, it says to-do list app, and the content is this, so like a spinning React logo and that stuff. So now we're going to get rid of the test files, logo.svg, setup.test.js, and app.test.js. We have to get rid of all of that, so it's just deleting this. Okay. So it's a little bit slow because I'm actually right now recording too. Now let's go over to app.js, and as you can see, it throws an error. So it says no such file or directory logo.svg. And that's because here we have deleted logo, right? So even after that, we're actually importing it. So we need to just get rid of this line, and we shouldn't get that error. Now we'll just get rid of everything inside of the app div, which is the entire header tag, and just replace it with the h1, which says hello world. And also we are going to be using the BEM convention for this video, and we're going to change that to a lowercase a. Hit save, come over here, and let's see, it's compiling, compiled successfully. Again, it's a little slow, sorry for that. And there we go. So as a part of the cleanup process, we also need to get rid of everything in the app.css because we have actually deleted everything in the app.js. So if we have it or not, it doesn't really matter. So as a cleanup process, we're just going to delete everything in app.css. And then in index.css, as you can see, there's this little annoying like margin or spacing there. We just want to get rid of that. So what we will do is come over here, select everything, and just say margin 0. Like so. Now we can hit save, and I'm just going to collapse down the open editors. Just close that. Control J for closing down the terminal. Now we're going to get rid of both of that, and we're just going to get started in building our actual application out. So we can get rid of that because that's really not helping matters. And what I'm going to do is we're just going to go ahead and have a little like H2 or H1 which says added to do. So like a little text which says added to do. So that's what we're going to be having first. So here, what I'm going to do is just have a H2 which says add a to do. Now let's just expand emit abbreviation. And the next thing that we're going to have is just going to be a div which is app __ add to do, like so. And what we're going to have inside of this is going to be an actual input. The type can be text, and the placeholder here is going to be type here dot, like so. Hit save, come over here, and that's looking good. And we also will give it a class name, so class name right over there, which is going to be app __ to do input, like so. Now we can also go ahead and have a button, so I'm just going to paste that in, and we are actually going to wrap all of this inside of a form, so let's do that. So form, which is going to be app __ form. So what a form basically does is I'm actually going to show you. So we want functionality where if we click enter, then we want to just submit the to do. So that's what a form basically helps us for doing. So when we click enter, it's actually just going to submit the actual form. So here we can just do the type submit, and we're going to create that. So okay, get rid of that, and on click add to do, right? So we have to just create this function right now. So const add to do, which is equal to an arrow function, like so, and we will also take in an e because that's when we submit a form. So when we basically, by default, when we submit a form, what it does is it just refreshes the page. So I'm actually going to show you that. In class name app submit, and this right over here. You may not understand what that is when you look at it first, but basically what this is a font awesome icon. So in this video, for the icons, instead of material UI icons, that's what we normally use, we're going to be using font awesome icons. So for actually using phantasm icons, what we need is to go over to phantasm.com, like so. So just wait for that to go ahead and load up. Okay, it's loading. Now just click on this little avatar and go over to Phantasm CDN. There we go, it's loading up. And here, I'm using the free version right now, but if you want, you can upgrade to Pro. Well, we don't really want the Pro version because we're only going to be using free icons in this video. So over here for free, just hit this little copy button, come back over here and open up index, not app, index.html, and right on top of the title, we're just going to paste that link. So it's basically connecting to the phantasm CDN. Now when I click save and I come back over here to the actual to-do list, and as you can see, it pops in that little button. Looking good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to type in a value here. So if I just say hello and I hit enter, as you can see, the page refreshes, and that's because it's a default behavior for the form, like I said. So to go ahead and avoid that, what I'm going to do is over here we're just going to do e.prevent default, like so, which is going to get rid of the default behavior of the form. And here what I'm going to do for the form is also have an onSubmit, which is going to be add to do, which is actually calling this function. So now it should get rid of that default behavior. If I type hello, hit enter, so I'm actually hitting enter and it doesn't refresh. Good. So that's basically what you need to do for actually fixing that simple problem. And the next thing that we're going to do is actually have like a to-dos array, which is only temporary, because later we're actually going to be adding it to the database itself. But for now, what I'm going to do is just create something called a react state. So what a react state basically is it's basically like a variable inside of JavaScript. So for actually creating it, what you need to do is just type in const, and you can just do what do you say for these square brackets, and inside of these you just need to type in whatever the name of your state is. So in our case, it's actually going to be to-dos. And the next thing that you want is like a setter function, which is going to be set to do. So set in whatever you have called your actual state, which is equal to use state, like so. And we want to auto import this from React, like so. So if it doesn't give you that auto import option, you can just import right over here. And then what you need to do is just have a bracket, and after that what you want is like an initial value. So here for the default value of to-dos, what I'm going to do is just have an array, and inside of this we're just going to have some values for now. So let's just do play badminton, and then let's just do go for a walk or something like that. You can just put in whatever values you want there. And the next thing that we want is actually going to be another state, which is called input. So it's just going to keep track of whatever we have typed in over here. So in this case, we have typed in hello. So it's just going to get that stored. And basically what this is going to do is when we want to actually add a to-do or submit a to-do, then is it's going to get the value from that actual input, and then what it's going to do is actually create a to-do with that value. So here input, and we'll also have set input, which is also equal to use state, like so, and it's also already imported, so we don't have to actually go ahead and import it again. And in this case, what we're going to do is just have an empty string as the actual default value or the initial value. So that's looking good right now. And now what I'm going to do is just connect that actual input, what do you call it, state with the actual input. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So we'll just have value is equal to input, right? And now if I hit save, we shouldn't even be able to type in over here. And that's because we actually set the value of the input to be whatever the value of the state input is, and the value of that state input never actually changes. We never actually use the setter function for that actual state. So it actually always remains as an empty string. And because of that, even the actual input's value will remain an empty string. So for changing this, what we need to do is just do on change, and we need to just do these curly brackets, which is just writing JavaScript. So inside of these curly brackets, you can write in JavaScript. And we just want to take in an E, and just create an arrow function. And what we're going to do is just set the input to be, set input, that's all that we want, e.target.value, which is whatever we have typed in on the actual input. So this input here. So now if I hit save, if I come over here, we can actually type in on the input. And for proving that this is actually coming straight from the stage, I'm just going to go ahead and open up my inspector, and here just click on components, and this is basically an extension called React DevTools, and you can just install it from the Chrome extension store. And here I'm just going to click on app, and as you can see, this is the first state, which is actually the to-dos, and this is the second state, which is the actual input. So if I just say hello, as you can see, it updates over here. So that's actually the value of the input state. And that's exactly what we want. So it's actually coming straight from that state. Nice. Okay. Now the next thing that we're going to do is actually add the value of that state to the actual array called to-dos. But before we do that, I just want to go ahead and display whatever the current value of the to-do is on the actual page. So let's just do that. So come over here, and right outside the form, what we're going to do is just go ahead and create a UL, which is going to be called app__UL, like so. And what we're going to have inside of here is going to be JavaScript. So inside of these curly brackets, we're just going to type in some JavaScript, which is going to be todos.map. So we're just going to map the entire to-dos array, and we're going to get each to-do, so to-do, and for each to-do, what we're going to do is just have an arrow function, and we're going to return an li, like so, which is going to have the actual to-do. So what this basically does is it just accesses the to-dos array, and what it does is just goes ahead and gets each to-do, which is going to be each value over here. So for example, play badminton or go for a walk, and it's going to create an li with whatever that text is. So play badminton and go for a walk. And now you can see if I hit save, it has those two values. So if I add another value over here, let's just say test to-do, or let's actually do something meaningful. Let's actually do something like do homework or something, like so. Hit save, and as you can see, it updates right over there. So this is currently pulling from the stage, and that's exactly what we want. Now we will actually go ahead and add to that to-dos collection or array. So let's do that. So here's the add to-do function. What we're going to do is we're just going to do set to-dos right after the e.prevent default, which just gets rid of the refresh. We'll do set to-dos, and we're just going to do an array, and let's do a spread operator. So to-dos, and I'm actually going to explain it after I do it, and input. So now let me explain what it actually does. So what this does is it basically gets the value of the to-dos, so the current value of the to-dos, which is play badminton and go for a walk, and then it also adds in whatever the value of the input is right over here to that actual state. So if I hit save, and now if I just do over here, let's just do hello. If I hit enter, as you can see, it goes ahead and adds it to the actual to-dos array. So it actually goes ahead, and over here we're actually mapping the to-dos, right? So it adds another to-do. So now we have actually done all of that. Good. So now what we want to do is actually go ahead and create a header. So right outside the form, what we're going to do is create something called an app header. So this is basically going to be like the to-do list app, that kind of header on the top. And inside here, what we're going to do is just create a h2 called, let's just say to-do list app, like so. Now if I hit save, and as you can see, it says to-do list app. Now we will actually add in all of the CSS that we need because this doesn't really look good. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So here we're just going to open up app.css, and basically I'm just going to paste in all of the CSS right now. And if you want to actually get that CSS, there will be a link in the description for the CSS. So you can just grab all the CSS from there and you can just paste it right over here. But for now, I'm just going to paste it right there. So Control V, as you can see, this is all the CSS. So this is just basic CSS. If you want, you can just go through all of this. And I'm just going to hit save, come over here, and that's how it looks. So it's a lot better. Okay, so looking good. And also, I just want to edit this a little bit. So here in app.js, let's just search for the button, this button right over here. So it's inside the add to do. So let's come over here, add to do button, and I actually do not want any border. So let's do border none, like so. Save it, come here, looking good now. And don't worry, the to-dos actually don't look very good right now, but in the next video, we're actually going to be going ahead and creating something called a component, and we can just reuse that, and we're just going to have all of the CSS inside of that component, and after that, it's just going to look really good. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And before I go ahead and end this video, I just want to say to you that in the next video, we're just going to be adding the to-do component, like I said already. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.